All right, guys, as you can see, all my pistons are in, whole rotating assemblies together, oil pans on, windage tray, oil pickup, all that stuff. Got my ARP head studs in, my alignment dowels for the head are both in, and new head gaskets on. I'm getting ready to slap the head on, get it torqued down. All right, guys, you can see my head is pretty much fully disassembled. All I got to do is just pull the camshafts out, because if any of you have never seen under one of these things, the head bolts are actually underneath each bearing for the camshaft. So you got to pull everything out of the head, all the caps and cams and whatnot. I can't remember if I showed on video, might be hard to tell, but there's my Skunk 2 titanium retainers. I also as well got dual exhaust and intake valve springs. You can see the Skunk 2 lost motion assembly. That's that spring back there. I got that in there, and I got all new valve stem seals and all new Skunk 2 intake and exhaust valves as well. So pretty much the whole head is fully Skunk 2. As of right now, I think I'm staying stock cams. I just got the upgraded lost motion assembly, the springs, the valves, and the retainers. It's got stock guides and stock keepers, and then just replacement valve stem seals. I've been thinking about maybe getting some Type R cams or Civic, like Integra Type R cams or Civic Type R cams. I haven't decided yet though. Right now I think I'm going still with just the stock GSRs, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna take these cams out and get the head set down on the block.
Fitting with the studs on there?
Huh? I've seen people put the studs in first,
They call it.
Yeah,
Here's your dead wood. Alright, I gotta go get my kids.
Where are they at?
At the babysitter.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Good day. Happy, happy?
Yeah, yeah, okay.
It's down all the way now.
Ka-blunk, ka-blunk. All right, guys, I got all my washers and nuts on my studs, so it's time to torque them. According to ARP's instruction kit for this motor, it says to just follow the manufacturer's specification for the sequence. So you tighten them in the same order you would, like if you're just using stock head bolts. But it says to torque them in 3 steps to 80 foot-pounds. So I'll probably end up doing like 40 foot-pounds, 60 foot-pounds, and then 80 foot-pounds. So you just gotta take 3 steps to get up to a total of 80 foot-pounds on them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that. All right, we got more progress on the Integra motor build. As you can see, I got all my head studs torqued. So I got my camshafts in, got my camshaft caps in the bridges. Everything's torqued there. I do have yet to do a valve adjustment. I have to do that still. But yeah, my cam bridges are in with the caps all torqued. Head studs are all torqued. I got my VTEC solenoid on. Got my shiny little gold camshaft plug in there. Got a couple of sensors in the head, like coolant temp sense and for the gauge, and a little port there for the heater hose. Timing belt is on, completely installed, everything's tight. It's all timed up properly. Everything's looking good in the timing department. I have already rotated the motor over a couple times, make sure everything spins freely and that it was properly in time. Everything looks good, everything spun nice. Obviously I had no compression because I don't have spark plugs in it yet. So I gotta get the spark plugs in and get the valve adjustment set properly. Got the rear timing cover on, got these torqued down. Just gotta put the front timing covers on. Once I do a valve adjustment, I can get the valve cover on, start putting accessories on, and get the transmission bolted up. That's all coming next. All right, guys, next thing I'm gonna end up doing real quick is a valve adjustment. Basically all you do is loosen up this outside locking nut. I think it's a 10 millimeter, and then this little like slot here, you put a flathead screwdriver in there, and then you just want to get a certain amount of slack. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, but you can hear that that moves up and down, and you can see it. Since the head was at the machine shop and had the new springs and valves and everything put in, it's obviously completely thrown my valve adjustment off, because this here is my intake side on cylinder 1, and here's the exhaust side. Both of those I have too much play, and like my exhaust ones, they don't even move at all. When you do this, you do have to make sure your lobes are pointing away from the rockers to take the tension off. So like right now, since my motor is on, the time belt is on the compression stroke of cylinder 1. It's at TDC for cylinder 1. Since I had just did the timing belt, I know that none of my lobes for my exhaust or intake on cylinder 1 are touching. And then I believe you can do intake of cylinder 2, and you can do exhaust of cylinder 3, and then you can rotate the motor over 180 degrees, and you should be able to do all of 4, and then do the intake of 3 and the exhaust of 2. And the specifications is like 6 to 7 thousandths on the intake and 7 to 8 thousandths on the exhaust. I'm just going to make it easy for myself and just do 7 thousandths across the whole board, since that's still the within specification for the exhaust and intake together. So I'm going to do 7 thousandths. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting that done. Like I said, some of these are too tight, don't move at all. Some of them are too loose. So I'm going to get it all fixed up within spec, and we'll get the valve cover slapped on and timing covers. And then this motor should be ready to have the transmission put on it. All right, so I got all cylinder 1 done, intake of 2 and exhaust of 3. I'm gonna rotate the motor over 180 degrees and do both of cylinder 4, the intake of 3 and the exhaust of 2. All right, guys, I've gotten quite a bit completed. Motor's pretty much ready to put in the car. Just gotta get the trans on it, valve covers on, my valve adjustment's all complete. All timing covers. Got the little tensioner for the AC stuck on there. I'm gonna put the AC compressor and the alternator on after it's in the car, I think. Same with the header and the intake manifold. So I just gotta get this thing hooked up on the cherry picker, get the flywheel on and the clutch, get the transmission bolted up, and then this thing should be ready to go in the car. Alrighty, I got the clutch and flywheel installed. Got the transmission up here. The motor's still hanging from the cherry picker. Got it just barely set down on the table. I'm gonna start getting them bolted together. Okay, everybody, as you can tell, the motor's in the car now. I got my driver's side motor mount bolted up. I got the passenger side, the transmission motor mount bolted up, as well as I got the T-bracket bolted up to the trans and up to the rear motor mount. So basically all the motor mounts are in except for the lower torque mounts, but everything to hold the motor in is bolted up. It's been too long since this thing has had a heart in it, but yep, that's all good. I filled up my transmission. It's a lot easier through the speed sensor than trying to do it through the plug on the side, so I kept my speed sensor out, filled it up. That's got fluid in it. Now the speed sensor's in. It's kind of cool to watch the LSD do its job. You can see this one is spinning. You can see them both, possibly, maybe both. See them both spinning forwards. LSD's working. I can tell there is a little extra resistance to spinning it than there was with just the open LSD, but yep, LSD's working, so that's cool. Gotta get out of the shop now, gotta head home, but at least got it in there and bolted up. Now it's really just little tedious things, getting the wiring done and getting the intake manifold, exhaust on, hooking up hoses and stuff, and hopefully she'll be running pretty soon. But that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure to come back to see me get this thing running.